Good morning, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about some of the questions that we get asked oftentimes whenever we do an estimate. Sometimes people ask, well, can we start right away? And the answer for us is no. We use industrial products, so we have to order those. It's not something that can be obtained locally. Usually we get ours from Ohio, but there's a couple of distributors that we use. But any of them that we use, we do have to order our products. And you might ask, well, what's the difference between an industrial product and something that can be obtained locally? So we've got some samples here that I put together. What you see here is what Sherwin Williams considers their best cabinet product. So it is something you can obtain locally. I really like it for trim. It's good for something like that. But it's over an oil primer, which again, a lot of people consider one of the best products that you can use, but it's really not strong enough for cabinets. Now, this is called emerald urethane, by the way. And what you see over here is two different industrial products. This one is called Centurion, and this one is called Renner. And these are within that overall product line. These are like polyurethane, and we actually add a catalyst to these to increase the durability, scratch resistance, chemical resistance, etc. That's all things that you often encounter in a kitchen scenario, especially if you actually like to cook in your kitchen. And you'll note I wanted to do a test today to kind of highlight the differences. You see we've got some common kitchen items here. We've got ketchup, we have vinegar, and we've got Worcestershire sauce, as well as some greasy taco meat that I'm going to apply to this. And I've got some screwdrivers here that I want to use to kind of demonstrate the difference in the scratch resistance between each of these. So first off, I'll just start with the scratch resistance. And I'll take a kind of a flat head here. That should give me the best scratch on each of these. So first off, I'll show the emerald urethane, and I can just, and you can see it's left a pretty bad scratch there, and you can actually see the white, and I'm not going over that hard at all. But if I bear down a little more, I can pull it right off. I don't know if you can see that on camera. You can? Okay. So, especially if you have pets, we have dogs, so that's something that we have to be aware of. That's kind of similar to what a dog claw would leave on your cabinet if they scratched on a door or something. But now let's try it out on the Centurion. You can see we're leaving an indentation. There's nothing we can do about that. That's the substrate under it. This is maple. But it's not going through the paint. It's just leaving an indentation in the paint. No scratches. And this is our Renner. And really it has even more abrasion resistance. There's no scratch in that. It's just the indentation in the wood. And I can bear down as hard as I can. And you can see just hard as I can, bearing down with this screwdriver, I barely got through the paint, just a little bit there. So that's a huge difference between these products. Now this is of course is more expensive to apply. There's some mixing that goes in. We actually mix the catalyst in ourselves. We actually have a time frame that we have to work in to make sure that this product doesn't harden in our spray equipment and ruin it. So this is more difficult to apply. It does require additional expertise, and that's going to cost you more, but it's really worth it. So now let's try putting on some of our common kitchen items here. We've got ketchup. I'll just take one of these paper towels and wipe it away and we'll see what happens. So on the Renner, just wipe right off. Same for the Centurion, it's coming right off there. And now we've got our emerald. And the emerald actually held up pretty well to the ketchup. So now let's try the vinegar. So one thing right off you'll kind of see with our industrial products is that anything that's liquid wants to beat up on top of it a little more than it does on our emerald product. It wants to soak into it a little bit. What that tells us is it could potentially over time lead to staining, especially if you like to drink wine. You know how bad wine can stain things. With these industrial products, that's usually not going to be an issue. I mean, it might if you left it on there for a week or something like that, but as long as you clean up your spills relatively quickly with your industrial products, you're not going to have any issues. With your non-industrial products, you're going to see it start to soak in. You see it won't dry as quickly on the emerald because it's wanting to soak into that finish a little more. And you can actually see right here where I first dropped it, it's already starting to get into the finish and that part isn't drying. And then let's try our Worcestershire sauce. And I haven't pre-tested any of these actually, so I'm just very confident that these are going to withstand it. This is a darker color of liquid, so we'll see if it leaves any stains on any of these. So we have no staining on the Renner. We have no staining on the Centurion. And really the emerald did a good job with the Worcestershire sauce as well. So our final test here is our taco meat, which is going to make me hungry. I'm going to have to eat lunch after this. Grab me another paper towel here. I just want to show you that this is very greasy. good taco meat is. So we cleaned up just fine on the Renner. I think the Centurion didn't do as well as the Renner. We still see some smears here, whereas the Renner it pretty much all wiped off. And then we've got our Emerald. And with the Emerald, you can really, you can't see this necessarily, but you can feel it, how it's starting to soften. So I want to do another test with our screwdriver to see if these chemicals that we have added or applied to the finish here has weakened them at all. So first I'll do the Emerald again. And you can see how I'm just pulling off big strips of paint here. It's going right down to that oil primer underneath. We'll do the same with our other products. This is Centurion. I'm still not able to go through the paint finish. Our Renner, still am not able to go through the finish. And that's the Burnett Fine Finishes difference.